Hello, fellow fantasy sports fans. I'm your host, Joe Boozrum. This is MFSN's The Hub. I am here with Vlad to the Bone, Fantasy Pros expert Andrew Seifter, and as always, Ross the Boss.
Hey, everybody, I'm Ross the Boss, and I want to talk fantasy sports with you, cowboy.
Now, speaking of fantasies, Ross, you got to go to the World Series.
Literally, I just got back.
Tell us about it.
It was great. I mean, again, there was only 12,000 fans there. I got to sit in the owner's box for the Rangers, who I'm friendly with, and that was great. Magic Johnson's suite was right next to mine. He had like 100 people
dropping.
I know. Well, people like to hear about that stuff. I got to hang out with Billie Jean King the night before.
The humble brag.
Who I got to learn that she was a part owner of the Dodgers, which a small piece she told me, but she was there. She was an owner. She won. I saw her afterwards. I congratulated her. It was a great experience. I mean, I felt bad that not all the Dodger fans got to go, but I would say 80% of the crowd was Dodger fans, and they were excited before and after the game. And
So pretty much it was like a Tampa Bay home game then.
Wait, we actually have footage of Ross from after the game. Let's take a quick peek.
You know, the funny thing about that was I was just leaving the stadium great. And I was with my friend Tony, and he was interviewed first, and then the lady just put the mic in my face, and I did not know it was live. I thought it was going to be videotaped, and I wanted to show some emotion because I knew how it works. If you show emotion, you'll be on TV, but it was live. And my phone, literally, I got 85 text messages within 5 minutes. Everybody in Los Angeles saw me because it was on the local Fox station, and it was fun. I mean,
I just love that you said I'm Ross the Boss in the video. I was waiting for you to say, and I want to watch the World Series with you, cowboy.
I didn't want to say, yeah. I mean, I wanted to promote the show, and
you had the MFSN hat on.
I'm wearing this shirt.
If I came on TV,
it was a great commercial for the show.
Dan, I'm wearing this
Ross,
shirt.
do you know why I'm wearing this shirt? Can you see what it is?
I could see it's the Jackie Robinson's team, correct?
Exactly. It's the Jackie Robinson minor league shirt. I had to break it out in honor of the Dodgers.
I did sit with Cody Bellinger's mom for like most of the game, and she was like predicting like hits and home runs and everything else, and she was good. She predicted Mookie Betts' home run, which I was amazed of. And she was mad at her son not hitting a home run that game. She really thought he was going to. She was like,
well, it sounds like it was a blast.
He's such a disappointment.
But now it is time for 1st and 10. Okay, guys. Our topic this week is pretty similar to last week, but we want to look at how you're constructing your rosters at this point in the season through keeper and dynasty leagues. Obviously, this is a big topic, and we'll only scratch the surface, but I want to start talking about how are you constructing your rosters. In fact, Andrew and I had a total debate this morning because he wanted to offer me a trade. And Andrew, talk about the trade and what my response was and what I did wrong, which is probably the case.
Well, I wouldn't say you did anything. Well, anytime you don't make a trade with me, you're doing something wrong, I guess. But
no, it's the opposite.
I was going to say, we all feel that way when you offer us a trade.
Well, the nice thing about dynasty leagues is I feel like the values match up a lot for making trades more than they do in a redraft league. Keeper leagues, are a little harder to generalize because there's a lot of different types of keeper leagues. In this particular league that Dan brought up, we keep between 2 and 4 players each year. So really, we're only interested in high-end level keepers. There's no value in trying to, dig deep and find that guy that might, become the third receiver for, Atlanta or something like that. That's not
true.
That's not the name of the game.
You're not looking for the gems. You're looking for top of the line guys.
Yeah. But I think in this deal, really, we Dan was looking at Benny Snell. I have James Conner, so I'm we talked last week on the redraft show about wanting to sort of solidify your roster as you get down the stretch. And for me, I'm trying to upgrade my starting lineup. To do that, I'm going to have to give up some of my depth. So because of I'm doing that, I'm interested in getting the handcuff for James Conner in case he gets injured. So that's why I was interested in him. Dan was reluctant to trade him because he's feeling like he could become a keeper next year. And so we were having a debate about that because I think the chances of Benny Snell becoming a top 2 to 4 round pick next season is very small. So that was what that debate was.
But I love the fact that you can have these discussions when it comes to keeper and dynasty leagues as opposed to a redraft league where you don't care what they're going to look like next year. I love the kind of the slow build and the incremental values that you can accumulate over time. It just makes it, to me, a much more interesting.
You always have a stance about what you're trying to do, whereas in redraft leagues, when you really start to fall out of it, which most teams aren't yet, they start to lose interest, and that's why I like Dynasty. I'm fine. This is my first year in Dynasty, and I'm really liking it because there's just value to every player. But I do want to say, so I don't sound like a total idiot, I don't just think Benny Snell is randomly going to become a keeper. I think that James Conner is going to leave Pittsburgh, so he's a starting running back.
Right.
So,
but and my point was whether he leaves or not, I don't think Benny Snell will be a keeper.
See,
I understood that point. Ross, what do you do at this point in the season in these?
I mean, with talking about keepers and talking about dynasty, I think there's certain players like Singletary, Montgomery. There's certain players that are not having great years that are not going to be playing next year. I don't think Singletary is going to have a job next year, or Montgomery for the Bears. These guys are not going to have jobs. So that being said, rookies will take their place. You got to dump these guys. You got to trade them, get draft picks, do whatever you can. But guys that are not achieving their potential, these guys aren't going to have jobs. And my thing is, don't keep them, get rid of them, unless they're like 23, 24-year-old guys. But that being said, I would get rid of the guys that are not performing this year because they're not going to be playing next year. And that's my strategy. That's what Ross the Boss does. And
let's talk about age. Because
yeah,
I was
that's
really
what I wanted to talk about, because I feel like take Tom Brady for example. In a redraft league, it's hard to make trades from the bottom to the top, like the bottom of the league to the top of the league, because the bottom people in the league might not be motivated to change their roster or to make trades or trade their overperforming veterans. Whereas if I'm a team that's ready to win now and the team that might be out of it has a Tom Brady who's playing great, or even Aaron Rodgers who's approaching the twilight of his career. He probably has, I would say, 3 or 4 years of really good production left. I can get a really good draft pick from somebody up top. I can get a young potential guy who can help me as a foundational piece going forward. Those are the opportunities that you have to look at and that you get in these dynasty and deeper keeper leagues.
I think there's no question that it's easier to have needs aligned for trades in dynasty and keeper leagues than it is in redraft leagues. In redraft leagues, there's 2 types of trades, really. There's either a need for need, I need a running back, you need a receiver, let's make the swap. Or there's like, I view this guy as much better than that guy, and you view it the other way. So let's make this risky deal where our valuations are really different, So those are harder deals to make a lot of the time. In Dynasty, as you get later in the season, you're going to have half of the teams that are looking to rebuild and half of the teams that are looking to go all in to try to win a championship. So the needs naturally align there. And, when a lot of people ask me for my opinion about Dynasty trades, and usually the first question I always ask them is, what are you trying to accomplish? Because I feel like a lot of times people aren't clear about what they're trying to accomplish before they start contemplating a trade. And that's the wrong order of it, I think. I think you need to decide what are your chances of winning that year? Are you trying to win that year, or are you trying to build up for the future before you make a deal? And then you have a lot more clarity about the kind of deals that you want to be trying to make.
But the one guy you should get rid of for sure is Drew Brees. Drew Brees will be retiring by the end of the year. I don't see him playing next year. That's Ross the Boss talking. I don't know anything, but I'm just saying from his performing this year and his arm strength and him aging, I don't see him playing next year.
It's going to be Taysom Hill time, baby. I've got him stashed.
Or
Jameis
Hill,
Winston. I like.
What about Jameis Winston?
Yeah,
I like Winston, who I think his job. I think he's going to have the job next year. If you have Breeze on your team, you should trade him for a box of donuts or something, because he'll be worthless next year. He'll be retired.
Unless you're trying to win this year.
And
though,
donuts
right?
are delicious.
If you're trying to win this year, trade and get Brady, because I think Brady's value in dynasty leagues are very low because he's so old.
Because he's going to play till he's like 65, like
I don't know. It doesn't matter. But if you have 1 or 2 losses this year, the quarterback's still suspect. Trade for Brady. Get Brady this year. he's getting better and better. And his receiving core is ridiculous. I mean, that's the best receiving core I think ever in NFL history. I'll challenge anybody on it. Getting Antonio Brown, and he's in physical fitness, right? His shape right now is unbelievable. They said because he's been training with the team. He can't practice, but he can train. But that being said, Brady has unbelievable weapons right now.
Kurt Warner had some good weapons there with LA back in the day with Bruce and Holt and oh gosh, what was it? Ricky Prohl.
It doesn't come close to Brady's. Tell me the tight end for the Rams.
Okay, we're doing the tight end for the Rams in the next round, guys.
Yes, we're totally diverting from keeper leagues. We'll come back to that.
Dan brought up age, and I think age is interesting in Dynasty because each position is not created equal in this way. Like you can look at a running back and he's only 22 or 23, but if that's the equivalent of a 35-year-old quarterback. He's only going to have a 2 or 3 year window, maybe 5-year window. Most running backs don't last much longer than that. So running backs are really about like when you're trying to win now. You don't build long term around running backs. You build long term.
This is why
quarterbacks.
This is why I drafted wide receivers. This is why I drafted wide receivers and quarterbacks in my dynasty league more, and young quarterbacks. But I will say this: you also have to look out for quarterbacks. There's a lot of turnover in quarterbacks. If you're not talking about the high end guys. So like I dealt for Gardner Minshew, and he's on a bad team. He's now potentially about to get benched. I got to
he's getting benched because his thumb is all busted up.
Yeah.
That's what.
He's not.
There's all kinds of reasons it might happen, but you got to start looking out for it. I mean, Kirk Cousins, he's on at least a better team, so he's probably a little bit safer.
Kirk Cousins, the highest paid quarterback in the NFL right now. $40 million a year he makes, the highest paid. Can you believe that? That's unbelievable.
They're going to draft
Tom Brady
somebody.
signed for $50 million, but just for 1 year.
No, Kirk Cousins is the highest paid quarterback in the league. I don't know where you got your Tom Brady.
Well, that's where we end up on keeper leagues. We have ended up knowing that Kirk Cousins is the highest paid quarterback in the league. That's not where we expected to end, but
I think you're right.
I tried to keep it on topic here as best I
know.
could.
You and I kept it. You guys, we mostly kept it on the rails. But I want to talk more about keeper and dynasty leagues because I just think it's a fascinating part of the game, and there's a lot of people out there who are hungry for it. So we'll get back to that soon. But on the next segment, we have our guest of honor today, my former co-host on The Raw Word. Claudia Jordan is here. She is funny. She is beautiful. She's got all kinds of talents. And I just found out she's a track star also. Well, she was. So, Ross, we're going to meet with Claudia Jordan next. I can't wait. I'm here, and Ross is here with Claudia Jordan. This is really exciting for me, Claudia, because I've been on a show with you, but now you're on a show where I'm hosting. It feels really weird. I feel like we should be doing this together with The Raw Word. We'll interview Ross.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, Claudia. We're excited to have you on. Before we even get started, I want to ask you, we're a sports show. We like talking about people's athletic ability. We did it with Howie Mandel last time about his wrestling career. Wasn't that good? I know you ran track, which I'm really impressed with. Tell us about how well you did in track and the Junior Olympics and everything. Tell us about.
Yeah, wait, Claudia, I never knew you ran track. This is one of those things where it's like we spent a lot of time together, but I did not know. So tell me.
Well, we were too busy talking about discussing movies, but I ran track ever since I was 12 years old. And all through high school, college, I went to
400, 200, 100. What was your event?
Yep, 1, 2, 4, long jump, a high jump, both relays. I tried everything. The sprinters always carry the team. And there was a time that I thought I was gonna maybe one day try to head to the Olympics. And I was really close to Jackie Joyner Kersey's pace of being, when she was a long jumper, I was 2 inches ahead of her. Like when she was in 8th grade, I was 2 inches ahead of her. But then I had a really bad hamstring injury because I was showing off one day. The boys were long jumping and I was like, I could beat him. And I just ran and jumped without stretching, and I felt it tear midair, and I had to land on it. And I was never really the same. Oh, my cat's putting his ass in the cat.
Yeah, we like cats. So what was your best 100 time? Do you remember your best 400? Do you remember your best times you had, or no? Is that too far?
I don't. The splits, I was low 50s, but I don't remember the exact time. But I was, of course. I'm sorry. This cat is.
This is great.
It's a first. We've never had a cat get in the shot, but it's good.
Wait, so Claudia, when you were late, I'm not saying you were late often on The Raw Word, which was our talk show together, and even when you were, I couldn't blame you because I saw what they had to do to like get you ready in hair and makeup. I'd sit with you. we talk about, was it The Human Centipede? Is that what the movie was?
So I have a thing. I like to gross out my friends, and I also like to watch cheap B movies. Has anyone seen The Human Centipede?
I mean, I feel like I have because you told me about it, but
No. Okay. Well, it's a science. It's basically about a mad scientist that has this idea that he wants to connect 3 people, mouth to ass, and surgically make one digestive system, like make 3 people into one centipede.
yeah. And Claudia Ross, just so you know, Claudia, I think she could talk about this for hours. It was probably like a full hour, and it was extremely entertaining. Her movie reviews are great. So also we would do movie reviews, and see, we're gonna do this. We're gonna have you on Monster Madness, our next segment. It's gonna be right up your alley because I remember you talking about. It was the year that, what was that movie called? The movie about the. What was it?
The one where they turn the guy into a walrus.
No.
Guys, I've
We
never
did
seen
talk
any
about
of these
that.
movies. They sound fascinating, though.
I haven't either, but Claudia talks about them all the time. It won the Oscar. You remember your line about it?
I don't remember this, but that's great. It won an Oscar. I really don't remember seeing that. I really don't remember seeing any of this stuff, but I can't wait to see it.
I like gross movies. I like things that make you go, "What? Like, really? Who you had?"
Well, actually, that's one thing about you, Claudia. I feel like you have all these distinct parts of you. You were Miss Teen Rhode Island.
Yeah.
I went to college in Rhode Island, so that's part of our bond.
Connection.
And actually, in 1997, I think you were in the top 10 for Miss USA.
I was.
And in 1997, I graduated college, so we're even.
And that's the year that Donald Trump bought the pageant as well.
Oh, and you were on Celebrity Apprentice.
You're on Celebrity Apprentice. The election's next week. You got to work with Donald a couple times, and I'm sure you got to see him backstage of the pageants and stuff. How was he to work with? I mean, was he professional or was he grabbing you? Tell us what happened. Tell us the secrets.
Well, he never grabbed me by the. I will say that. He did try to kick me a couple of times. I've spoken about it in an interview that came out this week. He liked me. He definitely had a crush on me. I had to remind him a few times that he was still married to Melania, although she didn't really say much. She just was,
Yeah, was it Melania or was it the double? Which one was it? Was it the real one?
I think it was the real one, but she didn't really talk. So
have you seen the double? It really is. There really is a double. I'm convinced.
There is, and she doesn't look anything like her.
Really? She's not even tall. She's like 5'6".
She's 5'6". She's 20 years younger. She's a lot prettier, but she's younger. But she has a better. She smiles. The other one doesn't. The wife doesn't smile at all.
I think Melania is smiling, but we can't tell because when you have a lot of Botox, I have Botox on my forehead. Okay, so when you do that, look, I can't frown anymore. Look, I can't frown.
No,
so
you can't.
She's probably ecstatic or really pissed. We just don't know.
No,
we don't
know. So Trump was professional. He had a crush on you. I mean, obviously you came on season 2 and season 6, right? You came back.
Yeah.
He had you back again. I mean,
I think
she was an all-star.
I worked at NBC for 15 years, so I worked with Trump a few times on my show, The Tonight Show, and he was always professional. But back then, when I called his office, they always called him Mr. President, and this is before he was president, which is ironic now because he's the president.
I didn't know that, and all I know is that if he likes you, he's gonna loyalty is a big deal to him. More than what's right and wrong. I will say that. He liked me, of course. I think with me, he was trying like Hail Marys, like, well, maybe this will make her like me. Well, maybe all right, how about Miss Universe? How about this? How about I bring you back? You know what I mean? Because I wasn't responding to it. Like I just knew how to put him in the friend zone, work and get the hell out of there and get home. Get away. You know what I mean?
No, I mean you know this. You keep it professional. You can't go there.
Most women know how to like navigate it. Like we're used to having to kind of matrix it and kind of get out of these situations. But it sucked to see him go from someone that a lot of people liked to what he's become now. Because this person now, I don't know who this is. Because this isn't someone that I could have been friends with back then. Like I'm like, shut. Can I swear on the show? Oh no.
Have you talked to him since he became president? Have you heard from him or talked to him?
No, I called the security guy Keith when he won, and I just felt like I gave an obligatory congratulations, but I really wasn't happy about it. I was like, congratulations, I guess. This is weird. I just think he should have stayed in entertainment because he was good at reality TV, being and having empathy for the country and for people that are benefiting him. Not so much. So I just feel like he just up his whole brand by doing
Well,
this.
you know, when he was running in the beginning, it was a kind of not a joke, but it wasn't like taken seriously. And all of a sudden, he got momentum, as you know. And when he won, I think everybody in the country was shocked.
I actually feel like that happens all the time, though. I feel like whoever ends up being president,
I can't
you see it
remember an
coming.
election. Not since I've been around. I can't remember an election that was that shocking of a winner. I mean,
All polls said Hillary was going to win, and you know who's the most shocked that he won and the most pissed?
who?
Melania Trump, because she had to go 4 more years. I heard they was ready to.
Yeah, but we
split up.
couldn't tell. We couldn't tell. We thought she was smiling.
No, they barely hold hands. They don't even she has that mean look like she wants to kill the guy. I mean, it's not a good
Claudia,
situation.
I want to ask you about something because, so, you know, you've been on reality TV shows. You were on Real Housewives of Atlanta. What is it like behind the scenes? Like, I just wonder what is that show? I mean, you're not a Real Housewife of Atlanta as far as I know.
No, I wasn't married on the show, but I came on as a friend of one of the housewives who wasn't married either, but she was a big character on the show.
Now I understand.
Didn't have many friends on the show. Like she was kind of, they made her public enemy #1, and I was her real friend. So they needed someone to kind of like humanize her, make her show her other side. So they brought me on. But then the star, like the big, you know, the HBIC on the show, Nene kind of wanted to get into a little verbal argument with me, which wasn't a good idea because I was much more wittier than her. And I like read her down, and it was such a big deal that after that, the network was like, oh, we got to give you a peach, meaning we got to make you like one of the stars. But it was kind of like at the end of the season. So I didn't have that much time to really show my life. So that's what that was about. But reality TV isn't cameras following you. It's, you have a call time. Like I know, okay, I'm working Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Okay, I got to be at this restaurant at 3 o'clock, and I don't know who I'm going to do a scene with. When I get there, I see the person who I got to interact with, and then you get prepped before you go in. They'll take the other girl to the one side and me to my side and say, okay, we need you to talk about what happened last week. We need to make sure you hit these points. But then everything you say is your words, but they give you direction of what the scene needs to be, but everything you say is your words. Now, they can be creative with the editing. I will say that, but you know, it's not like a whole.
I've always wondered that.
So basically, it's scripted, except you know they want you to get to point A to point B.
It's kind of like this show. This is reality TV. You know, we just point in the direction, like
the direction.
You know,
yeah,
I mean, like right now, I know you're a football fan, and this is a sports show, so I'm supposed to go there. You're a Patriots fan, right?
I was, but oh my God, I was, but they suck now.
What's this like?
How much do you miss Tom Brady?
Oh my God, I hate it. Like, and I wanted to root for Cam Newton, but ever since he started dressing weird, he just hasn't been the same.
He's been doing that for years. He's been dressing weird for years. Cam was great before he got COVID. He came back from COVID and he's a whole new person. I don't know what happened to Cam. I mean, I like him as a person. I know he's mentally, he has some stuff going on, but I like him. But ever since the COVID, he got COVID, he came back and he's never been the same person. I don't know if they're going to bench him, but they're going to play him because they have no choice. But I feel bad. I mean, 3 losses in a row, Claudia. So I'm not.
I've never seen the Patriots. What are they, 2-6 now?
2-4?
Yeah, I mean, didn't they win the division for like 20 straight years or something?
I'm not used to we're always in the top 4 like every season. So I'm like,
I don't think they'll be I don't think they'll be 500 this year. That's my prediction. I said that before the season.
This shows you how messed up 2020 is. That the Patriots are 2-6. Everything's upside down.
Tom Brady has more touchdowns in one game than they have the whole season. I mean, it's kind of crazy, right?
I haven't been looking, but how's he been doing in Tampa? Awesome.
Unbelievable.
Undefeated.
Yeah, he's
the
pretty much picked up where he left off.
In the last 4 games, he has 15 touchdowns.
He did have one mistake where he forgot the down at one point, and I think him leaving the Patriots has been a bit of an adjustment for him for a little bit. But he's so cool under pressure.
And Claudia, he signed probably the best receiver that was out there, Antonio Brown. He used to play for your Patriots. He signed yesterday.
Did you hear that, Claudia?
Oh, that just happened.
He signed yesterday with the Patriots. I mean, excuse me. He signed yesterday with the Buccaneers, And now the Buccaneers have like Evans, they have Miller, they have an unbelievable like stable now. Gronk. I mean, they have an unbelievable team now. I mean, they're the favorites down the NFC, right?
I know Claudia well enough to know you're in a funk about the Patriots. I can see, because you used to know everything that was going on. There's no way you would have missed that Antonio Brown had just signed.
I didn't know, and he was someone that was like excited to get with the Patriots. I feel like Belichick would get him together because he's really good at reeling in these wild players that have personal issues. And I was like, okay, he'll get some structure. And then they let him go. I was like, God damn it, you fumbled the bag. And now he's back in an even better position. Tampa with Brady and Gronk, and Lord, they're going to the Super Bowl. I should go ahead and call my bookie now and just go ahead and put my bet in.
And Claudia, the Super Bowl's in Tampa this year, and they're allowing like 12,000 fans to go to the game. They're allowing 20% of the stadium can go to the game.
So they're basically going to win.
I think so. They have a good chance. We'll see what happens.
It's very possible.
So tell us about, really quick, I want to hear about hip hop. Your show on VH1, hip hop.
That's what I was going to ask.
Atlanta hip hop.
Love and Hip Hop. I'm the new host of the reunions. So they have the season, then at the end of the year, the recap, which is always wild, because if you hate somebody, that's when you want to like get your redemption, and you want to get the payback and tell them off. And it's wild. We just did one, and then COVID basically hit the very next week. We got so I was supposed to do all the other ones, New York, Atlanta, and in Hollywood, but we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. But it was wild as hell.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite character on the show? I got to work with the husband who's the manager, and the wife who's the singer. I forgot their names. I'm sorry. But they have like stores around Atlanta. They have like clothing stores too.
Oh, that's Rashida and Kurt.
That's it. Kurt. Yeah. I did a show with them, and they were so nice.
I like them. I'm friends with Mimi. We used to be roommates. Mimi,
oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So I know a lot of them. I just didn't know a lot on the Miami scene, but they're a lot younger and wild as hell. And they got some mouse on them. Let me just tell you that.
No, there's never a dull moment on that show. I had to watch it because I was working with them, and it was very entertaining. I thought it was a fun show. I thought they did a great job.
It's fun being the host or not being involved with the fights, because they go in on those shows.
Oof.
Well, it's never a dull moment with you, Claudia. And I want to have you come on Monster Madness later in the show.
Okay.
I know that's not going to be a dull moment, because I've sat in a makeup chair with you. I know you're going to have lots to say, but thank you so much for coming on, my friend. It's good to be reunited. I hope you stay. Just stay. I'm going to hold you here, but I can't really do it because it's through Zoom. All right, come back anytime. Thanks, Claudia.
Bye, guys.
It's time for Take Your Pick. We're going to find out just a little bit about how we did last week. I had J.D. McKissick against the Cowboys. As it turned out, I said everybody runs on the Cowboys, but it turns out Antonio Gibson was running for two. So he, I don't mean he was pregnant. I mean that he ran so much that there was no room for McKissick. But who did you guys have?
Yeah, I had Latavius Murray for New Orleans. He got 11 carries and 47 yards. He didn't get into the end zone. I expected it to be a much larger margin of victory for the Saints, and it just didn't work out that way. So I think mine was definitely not a strong pick either.
Yeah, my pick wasn't so hot either. I had Brandon Cooks, and I argued that he would be cooking last week, and he ended up going, I think it was like 7 for 60. So he wasn't really cooking. He was more like he was under a heat lamp instead.
And in a PPR league, 7 receptions.
Simmering. He was simmering.
He was simmering under the fire.
Ross, how about you?
Ross the boss again comes through. Christian Kirk I had 2 weeks ago. He had 2 touchdowns and 80-something yards. Last week I took T. Higgins of the Bengals. He had 60-something yards and a TD. I'll take that any day. It's great stats. I love it. And also my predictions on the games, I was undefeated, including the under and over picks too. So Ross the boss with picks and anything I'm great at. It's unbelievable.
Ross, you're amazing.
Next time I go to Vegas, you're coming with me.
I don't lose. I'm 82%.
Just stay out of the jail
and that's
in the
tested.
Vegas stadium.
82% tested against the spread this year in NFL football, and that's tested, and that's an accomplishment, and that's under over picks too. It's unbelievable.
That's amazing. No, seriously,
It's
we're going to
unbelievable.
Vegas soon.
Well done.
I
man.
am just a genius. Go on. What's next? What's the first matchup?
Okay, well now we're going to get to the picks from this week. So, I don't know who wants to go first. We'll bring in Andrew last. Unfortunately, he's gonna back up cleanup. But Kasey, why don't you start us off?
I'm going to go with a Las Vegas wide receiver in Nelson Aguilar. He's had 2 good games in a row, touchdown in each of the past 2 games. He's had 100 yards last week, and the game before that he had almost 70 yards. So he might not be considered the number 1 receiver in Las Vegas, but Carr certainly seems to like him and has thrown it his way, and he's bringing him in. And he's going against a Cleveland defense that isn't the strongest against the pass, to say the least. And I think he could be good for you again to 60 to 70 yards and maybe find the end zone. So I'm going to go with Nelson Aguilar, and he's somewhere in the 40s.
I love him. I've had him in waiver wire. Last waiver wire, I picked up Nelson, and we talked about it. So that's a great pick. I love that.
All right, Ross gave me the seal
Lauren.
of approval, and he's the best.
I'll go with AJ Green this week.
Damn it, that was my pick.
Sorry.
That was my pick too.
He's started to show some signs of life lately. In the past 2 games, he's combined for 15 receptions and 178 yards.
Don't give Andrew that much credit.
This week the Bengals face the Titans, and they've allowed the most fantasy
He's gonna
points
be
to wide
insufferable.
receivers, which pairs nicely with the fact that Joe Burrow just continues to throw, and he's thrown for over 300 yards in every game except for 2. And I think that the Bengals are one of the few teams where there's a lot of fantasy goodness can be had for all 3 of their wide receivers. So I think Green will produce again this week, and I think he's going to go over 100 yards and a touchdown this week.
Nice.
Wow.
So that is my prediction here.
I guess we should call him Throw Burrow. All right,
Yeah.
Ross, who do you have?
I love the AJ Green pick. I was going to pick AJ Green, but I'm not picking him now. I'm taking another guy with some initials that has done nothing this year. But I think
Oh my God, you're going to take my other pick, aren't you? Oh my God.
I think
right,
he's going to have a huge game. I'm taking T.Y. Hilton. I think
not him.
That's a bold call.
I'm taking Hilton from Indy.
Wow, believing in Phillip Rivers.
I feel Green and Hilton are both going to have big weeks. I don't think they can. I don't see him not catching a touchdown this week. So you have Hilton this week.
Right.
Start him.
Hilton wasn't actually on my list. He was on my cut list on the waiver wire, as he was on yours. So I'm surprised to hear you say that. But
That's fine.
I think that Jarvis Landry is going to have a nice week against Las Vegas with Odell Beckham out. I think that he is a guy that's gonna put up some good points. He's more than a possession receiver because he really can be a deep threat too. I just think he's gonna do a lot. The guy with the initials I was gonna mention is J.K. Dobbins, who also has done nothing.
I hate Baltimore running backs. I don't like any.
I know,
of them.
I generally do,
Horrible.
but isn't Ingram gonna be out? That's what I heard.
I do like Rashard Higgins too, but you took the other receiver. But there you go.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a Landry game this time. Okay, guys, we're going to bring in Fantasy Pros expert Andrew Seifter to find out his pick. And
Can't wait to hear this.
always got
I'm
a lot of
predicting a
knowledge.
Michigan
Ross
man.
is very excited about this.
Jeff Smith.
Andrew, who do you got?
Would you want to hear last week's pick first?
Yeah,
I want to hear who you had last week.
Okay, so last week I took Melvin Gordon. I felt like that was kind of easy for me. And true enough, he actually finished exactly where I had him in my rankings, RB20. So it was perfect. He was about RB30 for the consensus there. He did fumble twice, so he didn't help his real team that much. But for us fantasy managers, he did just fine.
But this week, Melvin Gordon, I have him as a top 5 running back this week.
Yeah,
he's
the
playing
revenge
the
game
Chargers.
narrative.
He's playing the Chargers, and Lindsey, I heard, is 50-50.
Lindsey's out.
So
Yeah,
we'll
if
see what
Lindsey
happens.
doesn't get cleared from his concussion in time, then yeah, I think you're right. I think Gordon's got to be
Top
considered
5.
right
You heard
around.
it from Ross the
I have
Boss
top
first.
10, but yeah, I can see that. Okay, so
Who's
for
your
this
pick?
week, I was gonna go on that Raiders passing game and mention Derek Carr, but then Kasey was complaining about my AJ Green wisdom, so I'm not going to give him those props of that I
Told
was
you he'd be
planning to give him
insufferable.
about picking on the
passive
Browns
aggression.
defense there with the Raiders passing game. So instead, I'll go a different direction. I'll go with the guy who was my top running back pickup in the waiver wire this week. That's Zach Moss, who I think I've talked about before on this show. He missed 3 games with a toe injury that kind of kept him out longer than people thought. But then the first game back, he barely played. But then last week, he pretty much split the carries and the snaps right down the middle with Devin Singletary. And this week, they're going up against that Patriots defense, which is not nearly as good as it used to be. They've actually given up 200-yard rushers in a row. Philip Lindsay, and then last week the great Jeff Wilson. So they're bleeding on big carries on the defensive front there, and the Bills are going to probably control that game, have a big lead, run the ball. Zach Moss he was their goal line back at the beginning of the season. He had like 8 red zone carries first game of the season, so I think he can get back into that role, catch passes, have a big day. So I'll go with
Zach Moss,
Right.
Pac-12 running back. Anybody from the Pac-12, Ross the Boss loves.
Andrew, thank you for joining us on this segment. We always love to get your picks. We know you're an expert at picks, so we have to have you on this segment always. Thank you.
My pleasure, guys. Have fun.
All right, so let's go to the actual games. Ross, since you are really you're like our guru of real game picking, so you pick the games this week.
I've been on fire this year. I don't have a paid service. I just pick games because I'm good at that stuff. The first game that comes to mind this week, it's probably the biggest game of the whole Sunday
century.
Well, no, it's Pittsburgh at Baltimore. It's a clash of the AFC and Central, and basically, I think that Pittsburgh's going to be undefeated. They'll be 7-0 after this game. I know it's in Baltimore. I know you're saying, Ross, are you crazy? You're taking Pittsburgh. It doesn't matter where they play. They'll win. I think Baltimore's a little overrated. That's my opinion. I just see Pittsburgh.
I think I remember you picking them to the Super Bowl earlier in the season. I think
I do like Baltimore.
You said they were going to represent
remember,
the AFC.
I've been watching Pittsburgh play like every week. I watch Pittsburgh. I don't know why. I'm not a fan.
Oh, I totally agree with you that Pittsburgh's defense is legit, and it makes me worry about anybody on Baltimore's offense as a runner, as a scorer.
Ben Roethlisberger, I think, is really, really hungry right now because last season he was out for the whole year, most of the year. So he's really hungry. I agree with Ross. I've seen Pittsburgh has vaulted over Baltimore this season in terms of the kind of team that they are. I think they're going to win. I think for fantasy purposes, I'm not sure what to make of this game. I think Pittsburgh is a really complete team, so I really like their players even against Baltimore. I don't think they're going to have their biggest games. But I think James Conner will be fine. Yeah. I think
you start Conner. You start. I don't think Claypool's going to have a big game. If I have Claypool and I have another good receiver,
no, of course not, because I just traded for him.
I don't think Claypool. I don't have any high hopes on Claypool this week. Lamar Jackson. I'm starting Herbert for the Chargers over Jackson this week. I don't like Jackson this week against Pittsburgh. That's Ross the Boss
but most
talking.
People who have him spent such a draft pick on him that they probably don't have the greatest guy behind him. You made a brilliant pickup in Herbert, so you have somebody. I think if you have Jackson, you have to run with your horses, I think. But the other guys, I don't know about Hollywood Brown or any of the backfield there in Baltimore I would necessarily play. On Pittsburgh, they spread the ball around so much, it's hard to pick who's going to get the passes from Roethlisberger this week. You could have Juju, you could have Deontay Johnson, who it was last week, and of course Claypool had a big game a few weeks ago. It's scary. I think if you have Conner, you run him because he's going to get all the touches and accumulate yards and maybe get in the end zone that way. But it's a tough game for fantasy purposes.
Let's talk about another scary. You mentioned it's scary. Let's talk about this scary game. The New York Jets at Kansas City. 19.5 is the spread, which is ludicrous in the NFL. Ross the Boss will take the Jets and the 19.5 points. Anytime it's a high spread like that, for some reason the team that gets the points always wins. The spread, not the game. So
the Jets have the spreads. That's a term that we came up with.
Again, there'll be a lot of garbage time. There'll be a lot of garbage touchdowns for the Jets. I don't know. I'm not quite sure if I would start a Jet this game, but if I had to, it'd probably be their rookie running back they have, Perline.
Pirine?
Is that Perline?
Pirine.
I would probably start him over Gore, but that's Ross the Boss talking. Lauren, who do you like in fantasy?
I agree with that. I think LaMichael Pirine is kind of interesting. I think he, may have an opportunity to do well. I mean, I think on the Kansas City side, you're starting kind of three regulars, Mahomes, and Kelsey and Hill. And then I don't know. What do you?
Do you start Hardman? Do you start Hardman? Yes or no?
Bell? What do you do about?
I don't know.
Bell?
I think outside of the top three,
I
always
think I would
between
start Hardman.
Is Watkins coming back?
Le'Veon
too?
Bell, I could see
Watkins
more
isn't
because
playing.
they're going to end up running a lot.
I think Bill could get some garbage time because they'll be up by like
Exactly.
10 or 17 points, whatever it is.
And I don't know if he'll be running a little bit harder against the Jets.
That's true. It is a revenge game.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So if you have Bell, I would
Revenge
start him
against the Jets. Doesn't revenge against the Jets just feel wrong? I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
So it's hard to start Jeff Smith. I love bringing that name up, but I feel that game is. I feel that game is basically is just the. It should be a lot of turnovers. If you have the Kansas City defense, you should start them immediately.
Absolutely.
That makes
5
sense.
turnovers at
Start
least.
them immediately. Don't even wait for the game.
Start them
That's right.
yesterday. Yes.
Let's go. Let's go with the Bengals are at home against Tennessee. Tennessee
I
is
really like that game.
Tennessee is -5.5. I like the Bengals in this game. I think Tennessee is not going to will take Cincinnati very lightly. And I think Joe Burrow will have a huge game against those horrible DBs for Tennessee. You start all the Bengals people. I don't think Mixon's going to play. That's the rumor. Start Bernard. I love T. Higgins. I love AJ Green. I even like Drew Sample a little bit. So I like a lot. Of course, for Tennessee, you got to start their regulars too. The Henrys and the Tannehills and people like that.
Yeah, and I think on the Tennessee, and I agree with all that. I love the
A.J.
Bengals
Brown.
this week.
Jonnu Smith.
I think Jonnu Smith will get a bounce back game this week.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what Baker Mayfield did to the Bengals secondary, and I know some of that was, it could have been an anomaly, but I think it actually largely was what Ross said last time that I think you said it on the waiver wire actually that Odell Beckham going out actually in a way helped Baker Mayfield just relax, and he was like
it's like he was pushing. It's like almost
He's
in
trying
some
to get
ways
him the ball too
forcing
hard.
it.
It's like,
yeah.
He's been trying to throw him the ball. I mean, after he got hurt, I said this before, he had 21 completions in a row. 21. And
Let's do the follow up on Baker. Baker they're in. No, is Vegas in Cleveland? I think Vegas is in
Cleveland. Yeah.
Vegas.
What's
I don't really have a
spread,
feeling
Ross?
in this game. I don't like it that much on betting perspective. So I'm going to pass on the betting perspective on that one. I do think the games are going to go over. If I was betting the over under, bet the over. I think it'd be kind of high scoring. I see both defenses kind of giving up some points.
Dan, what's the weather forecast in Cleveland this weekend?
I know, Dan, what is it?
The weather forecast in Cleveland is it's going to be raining and gray for the next 6 months.
And I did see that. I think they're expecting like 20 to 25 miles per hour wind, which will have a major factor on the game.
Yeah, I think Josh Jacobs is probably a pretty safe play, and Kareem Hunt is obviously always somebody you're going to plug in. I think you have to check the weather before you go very far. I picked Aguilar as my sleeper this week, so hopefully I'm right, and that the Raiders' pass offense they've been pretty impressive. I mean, everybody talked about Kansas City's pass defense, and the Raiders went up against him and threw it all over the place against him. So they've shocked some people. Gruden is doing some good things with his passing offense there in Las Vegas.
I agree. So let's talk about the huge game, NFC East. Battle for the NFC East. Whoever wins this game is going to be in first place. It's the Philadelphia Eagles at home against those Cowboys. So the winner
first
is
team to
How
5
about
wins
them Cowboys?
wins the division.
So remember, I don't think I don't think Dalton's playing. They're starting Benny
DiNucci.
Thank you.
DiNucci.
I don't know what you do with receivers for Dallas. I mean, what do you guys think?
It's tough to start any of those guys outside of Cooper.
I mean, even when you're starting
CeeDee
Cooper,
Lamb,
he's kind of a
I don't
low-end guy now.
know.
Yeah,
I just think
Ezekiel
it's just.
Elliott is obviously the big play. I mean, he's going
I think
to
you're
fumble a
fading
couple
all
times,
Cowboys.
but I think he's going to be the most reliable offensive player for the Cowboys. On the other
by
side,
the way, if you're in a keeper or dynasty league, I think it's a great time to buy Cowboys. By the way,
I agree with
just
you.
a
That's
side note.
That's a great idea. And let's
wanna
talk
sell
the other
some?
side of football is you got to start every Eagle you have. I mean, Boston Scott is a great start.
Even
You got
Richard Rodgers,
Richard Rodgers, a
starting
great
all of your
sleeper,
Eagles.
Lauren. I agree. And then you
Fulgham.
got that Tony. Who's the receiver for?
Fulgham.
Yeah, Fulgham, and he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think Rieger's
he had
back
9
this
targets
week,
last
too.
week.
Yeah, I think Rieger's coming back this week as well. Yeah.
Rieger is too. So if you have an Eagle receiver that's playing in the game, of course that's unhurt, start them immediately. And Boston Scott, I don't know if you guys saw the game when he caught the
Greg
game-winning
Ward
touchdown.
seems to catch touchdowns for
But
him
that
now,
was
too.
great. So
Yeah.
I think
Gary.
the game's going to be a blowout, and I think the Eagles will win. So I'm taking the Eagles. I don't even know what the spread is. I think it's 4 or 5. But I think Wentz is going to have a huge game. He's due, and I think the Dallas defense is bad, and I think Dallas kind of gave up for the season. I think they're just they quit.
All right, guys, these are great picks. What's that?
What happens?
We will see what happens, but we'll have to wait for the future. But what's up next is Ross's rant. Okay, Ross, it's time for Ross's rant, and today you have 46 seconds. Go!
46 seconds. Here we go. I'm Ross the Boss. I want to talk about 2 things, baseball and football. The first thing is that baseball, I don't know if you saw the game, but Blake Snell was just rolling it. He had 9 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings. All of a sudden, the manager takes him out because of analytics. Analytics means what? Means nothing. Who cares about analytics? Bob Gibson, Tom Seaver, all these guys pitch complete games. Let them pitch the whole game. They would have made a game 7. They blew it. Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. First time I ever seen a player was going to stop. So he didn't score. He scored, and they still lost the game. The Atlanta's 1-6. They're the worst team I've ever seen. Seriously, their defense just gave up. No timeouts. 50 seconds left in the game. The Lions go all the way across, score. Prater had to kick like a 40-yard extra point. He nails it. Lions win. There you go. I'm Ross the Boss, and I love talking sports with you.
Welcome to Monster Madness. I'm very excited to have Claudia Jordan on with us. We've got Ross the Boss with us as always, and Kasey Scheinvold, also known as Vlad to the Bone on this show. We're going to debate the South bracket. Claudia, I wanted to explain this. A long time ago, I came up with a concept of doing like March Madness brackets, but with anything. So I started with a Heroes and Villains bracket. I was talking with a friend. He insisted that Mr. Miyagi would win the whole thing. I thought that was preposterous. Superman's in there. You know, all kinds of people. Mr. Miyagi's not going to win. But actually, we have Mr. Miyagi is in this bracket. You're going to get to argue whether Mr. Miyagi would beat Phoenix from the X-Men. And if you need any briefing on who people are, we'll help you out. So in the South bracket, we're going to start. Mr. Miyagi upset Sauron from Lord of the Rings because, you know, he just got rid of the ring. We figured a Hobbit could do it. Mr. Miyagi could do it easily. So he's now going to face Phoenix, who is an really all-powerful X-Men. Do you know her?
Well, what is her power really, though? She can't set fires, right? She rose from the ashes. Is that what happened? What's her power? What's going on?
No, Phoenix can basically like manipulate all physical matter in any way that she wants.
She's telepathic and telekinetic, and
I mean that's cool. But Mr. Miyagi, he's like an OG, so I'm gonna go with Mr. Miyagi on that one.
Yeah, I like that. I'm pulling for Mr. Miyagi all the way. I may weigh in for him, but I'm going to see what Kasey has to say about it first.
I'm a huge Mr. Miyagi fan. Certainly the Karate Kid's a classic. He beat Sauron, which was a big pick for all of us. We were fans of that one. But I think Phoenix is a different animal. Sauron was just pretty much a giant glowing eye. Phoenix actually does have game. And so I got to go with Phoenix. I don't think it'll be too much of a battle, but it saddens me to say I'm going to go with the Phoenix.
Well, Mr. Miyagi's old. He's already survived so much, so I feel like he has better survival skills.
He's got better wisdom than
he does.
Phoenix. Ross, what do you say?
Mr. Miyagi, listen, he fought in World War II. He's a war hero. Because I'm watching Cobra Kai. I don't know if you guys watch Cobra Kai like I did. I watched Cobra Kai, season 1, season 2. I loved the show because it's corny, it's fun, it's easy, it doesn't take much from your brain. I love the film. But Mr. Miyagi has no chance against Phoenix. Phoenix has powers. Mr. Miyagi is great with the karate, and the guy breaks glass with the window because Miyagi moves like this. I mean, he has great stuff, great instinct, great moves, but he's not going to beat Phoenix. I have Phoenix in an easy win, first round. That's Ross the Boss.
This is very tough for me because I could throw this into a tiebreaker very easily.
Do it.
The question really is, does Mr. Miyagi have his chopsticks or not?
Yes,
I
of
don't know
course,
why
he has
that's
the whole
relevant,
thing.
but
He's the whole arsenal going.
he's
has
got
it.
everything. He's got
He's
sand
got
the floor.
everything. Let's do
He's got-
yes.
Yes.
He has
listen,
the
I
thing
don't-
around his head. He
Basically,
has
here's
the-
my argument. You know, he said karate here, karate here, and here is where the matchup's going to be won, in the heart. Phoenix is definitely more powerful, but I just feel like Mr. Miyagi will find a way to win. I will not let him go down with me voting against him. By the way, Claudia, he beat Hitler in the first round.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, we
was a play-in
included
game.
some
all Hitler
serious
has
people.
is
That was a
a
playing game.
stupid mustache. That's all Hitler had for a superpower. There's no Hitler had no chance.
Have you
tried
ever been pinched by your grandpa or anybody old? Like, old man strength is something to not overlook.
It is true. It's true. My grandpa, he would come in and he'd say, "Hiya, my boy," and he'd slap my back, and I was like, "Oh, Jesus
It's
Christ!"
shockingly powerful.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's going to catch Phoenix off guard with his old man skills. So this means we have a tiebreaker, and coming in for the tiebreaker is my cousin, actually, and Fantasy Pros expert Andrew Seifter. Come on in. You better pick Mr. Miyagi, or I will kill you.
Ooh,
No pressure.
Wow.
Well, that's a very good reason to pick Phoenix then. You know that I like to be contrarian, Dan, so you've just dug your own
that's
hole
true.
there.
That's true.
Well,
All right, listen,
I think
Andrew, I'll never tell you what to do, but you should pick Phoenix.
Phoenix is like fire, right? Isn't Phoenix like made out of fire?
That's what I thought. I was confused. Maybe I was
so.
fired.
I think she used to be back when I was a kid, the version I remember. I don't know about the one in the modern movies.
Phoenix is one of the most powerful people in this, but is
Because
she
what
an
I'm thinking
old man?
about, you guys were talking about old man power. There is old man power, but there's also the old man weakness. And the old man weakness is any sort of climate control issues. Old men are very particular about temperatures. They don't like it too hot. They don't like it too cold. And I'm telling you, with Phoenix, it's definitely going to be too hot. So I think Mr. Miyagi's out. Sorry, guys.
All right, Andrew,
yes.
I will come to kill you soon.
Andrew,
All right,
good
so
selection.
Phoenix
the wrong
does
guard
move on.
loses round
Next
one.
on its way. Okay, next.
All right, next we've got Spider-Man, or as I've been calling him since Kevin Nealon was on with us, Spider-Man.
Okay.
I made him into a Jew. He's facing Black Panther, and Black Panther is a heavy favorite, I think, in this. This is a 12 versus a 13 seed, so really could go either way. But you know, the sentimental pick is certainly Black Panther this year, with Chadwick Boseman being lost, and just that movie was so great, and it should have won the Oscar, as we talked about. You know, offset instead of Shape of Water, where it was bestial.
Yeah, that
So,
part.
Claudia, you get us started. Who you got here?
I mean, I've always side-eyed Spider-Man. I just feel like he's such a like he lives with his mom. He never gets any ass. Where's the girlfriend? He kissed her. And he's like, oh, it's all scary. I just feel like, what is his power? Like he sprays people. Like any. I mean, it's almost like inverted. You know what I mean? Like he sprays people. His white webs. You know what I mean? I don't know.
He's like a
Yeah,
gymnast.
yeah.
Like he
I
just
hadn't thought
flips and he like swings around. You're right. There's no power there.
Just
He gets
a-
his
A
ass-
gymnast who lives with his aunt?
Right, like every
Yeah.
movie. How much tang is he getting in the house? Like, I'm just saying. I just feel like he's a nerd, and I like nerds, but not. Spider-Man has always been a disappointment to me. Every movie, he's always getting his ass kicked. Right? He's always almost dead before
It's
he.
true. And then he needs Iron Man to come in and save his ass.
Yeah, he needs too much backup. Now, Black Panther, of course, you know, nostalgia, and I kind of have to represent, guys. You put me in a funny position here. I got.
I'm sorry, Claudia. I did not mean to do that. It was
I gotta
it
go
was
with
not
him.
racially motivated, but it just happened.
I mean, yeah, I can't turn on my people like this. I gotta go with Black Panther. All right, Wakanda forever.
I mean, so far you're representing minorities well, also, because you went with Mr. Miyagi. So
Someone's
let's
gotta
see.
do it in these times.
let's see the next matchup. Oh, we can't. We just move on.
Wait, we got to vote on it, don't we?
we got to
Don't we
vote.
all
I
talk
was like,
about
if
it?
Oh, and I just
Now,
want to
Ross,
say
you
to
tell me.
the three other white men, if you don't go with Black Panther, I will guilt you into being racist and prejudiced, and I will cancel.
I don't know about you all, but I'm going with Black Panther.
That's right.
I actually was going with Black Panther anyway, but
Yeah.
because I agree with you. I think Spider-Man is a gymnast who lives with his aunt and is spraying things on people like a spitball. Okay, so
Like,
yeah, I think-
Spider-Man's in the hole.
Like I don't think any of us are going to pick Spider-Man. I'm not as down on Spider-Man as Claudia is. She certainly made him like a perverted teenager with love issues, but I think of him kind of as the
Not
Rocky
perverted
of,
enough. That was the problem.
Well, if he's spraying everybody with white stuff as a way to capture them, that's pretty perverse. But I think of him as kind of like the Rocky of the Marvel Universe. He just gets his ass kicked, but he doesn't ever really go down. He outlasts his enemy in that respect, or gets lucky as a way to kind of defeat them in the end, because he gets beat up, but he always gets off the mat. And there's something to be said for that. But Black Panther he's something different, man. And his suit and its ability to collect other people's energy and use it against him to magnify his own strength. I don't think it'll be much of a match. I think this is a time where Spider-Man gets knocked down and doesn't get back off the mat.
All right, Ross, this is one of those times where you're basically voting in New York. Your vote does not matter.
It doesn't matter, but I can represent. I love Black Panther. I thought his rating was way too high. I mean, way too low. Excuse me. His powers are unbelievable. I agree with Claudia 1,000%. His power, Spider-Man, he does flips and he does the spray, and his moves are not that great.
Keep talking about him spraying white shit on people.
But what else does he have? I mean, he's not this strong. He's not this great.
So we basically brought in Claudia. We have a black man against a guy who sprays.
I don't
white.
look at race. I could care less if he's black, white, or yellow. I don't care about the race. What I'm saying is, Black Panther's powers are extremely greater than Spider-Man. I'm taking.
All right. Well, I remember when on the.
Can I just say
Go
real
ahead,
quick?
Claudia.
The fact that I remember he also has a spider sense, but doesn't feel like he has spider sense, but he still manages to get his ass kicked all the time. Like, it doesn't seem to prevent him from harm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, sorry.
I mean, high school bullies are beating this guy up. I mean, what chance is it?
It's like somebody who thinks they have good gaydar, but they don't.
That would be me.
Yep. All right. So up next, we've got Luke Skywalker, the number 3 seed, against the number 6 seed Alien from the Alien movies. And Claudia, I don't want to always put you on the spot first. But you are the guest of honor. So if you want to start, you can. If you want to defer, that's fine.
I'll defer. Come back to me.
All right, Ross, let's go with you.
This one, I didn't like Luke Skywalker last time.
I've heard enough. No, I'm kidding.
And I know you're a big Star Wars guy, and I know you love the first three movies. I know you loved. We all love the first three.
No. I love 4, 5, and 6. Let's not get confusing.
Phantom
Menace
First
is horrible.
movies were terrible.
But I'm taking Alien. I think Alien just it's too much for Luke Skywalker. I know he has the laser. I mean the what's it called? The
Lightsaber.
The lightsaber.
The lightsaber. But I think Alien has
a man who calls it a laser.
I forgot. I don't follow Star Wars like you guys, but I do like Star Wars.
Ross,
I do like it.
You may have lost your right to vote.
But I like Alien. I'm taking Alien on this one. I just think it's too powerful of a thing. I can't even describe what the alien looks like.
Alien is so gross, and it would.
I know it is gross.
Set of teeth out.
And that's the thing. I mean, it has like no shape.
Right off.
Yeah, Ross, I'm sorry. I'm going to talk over you because you're done.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Luke Skywalker would crush Alien as much as we like voting for the minorities and away from the white men in this bracket today. I think
Alien is not really a minority.
Alien is a minority.
It's like a thing. It's a thing. It's not really, it's an it.
I think Luke Skywalker would just dominate this between the lightsaber and the use of the Force. I don't think there's much of a matchup here.
I agree. Luke is moving. I don't even need to comment much. You know, Luke with one hand off of his body, he could beat Alien.
Have you watched Alien lately? Have you seen the movie? Have you seen the terror this alien does to people in the spaceship? This terror
but I mean,
this alien does is unbelievable. I couldn't sleep for days after this.
No, if Ridley in a construction suit can beat Alien and just launch her out of the airlock, Luke can handle it. Claudia, what do you say?
You both made great arguments. On one hand, I'm like, okay, sometimes the aliens are real small, but then you have the big aliens, right? It does have 2 mouths, a mouth inside of a mouth, and it has that acidic spit that's like acid. So it doesn't have to really even get on you to really jam you up. Luke Skywalker, yeah, he has a weapon, but an alien can literally get inside of your body and like burst out of your stomach and kill you that way. Has multiple options of murdering you.
But that's later. So let me make this argument, Claudia. Maybe Alien does impregnate Luke Skywalker, but it's not going to beat him then. It happens later.
No, it can happen now. That's not true. That's your little.
No. You could get to the final 4 and say that Luke was impregnated by the alien.
It sounds like we got a tie, Dan.
Luke did have a little male figure skater hairstyle, didn't he? And he looks a little bit soft without the weapon. And I think once the alien gets up in his guts, it's over.
Listen, I respect that argument. We're gonna bring in Andrew Seifter again as another tiebreaker, and this time I'm not gonna tell him anything about what I think because he'll just do the opposite. And now he's going to do the same because I told him.
No, he's not. Andrew is the word of reason. Andrew knows what he's doing. He studies this stuff all night and all day.
All right, Andrew.
Andrew, go.
We'll see if you still agree with that statement, Ross, after I pick Luke Skywalker, because there's no doubt. I mean, first of all, I was born in 1979, okay? So, like, when I was growing up in the 80s, like, Luke Skywalker was, like, my hero. I wasn't quite old enough to, like, appreciate Alien. It was too scary for me. So, forget that. But here's the real thing. Here's the real argument. Luke Skywalker, like, Alien was like most of those people, they had never seen an alien before, right? Luke Skywalker's seen tons of aliens. In fact, Luke Skywalker technically is an alien himself. In Star Wars, they're all aliens.
From Tatooine.
So he dealt with the Rancor monster. He dealt with Jabba the Hutt. He's seen so many aliens. He's going to have he's been on every planet and chopped, he can chop the head off of any alien with like in his sleep. So I don't see this as much of a contest at all. And
Ross, you think of him as the voice of reason, and Andrew does reason very well. I think he actually probably just convinced you.
Yeah, he made the most convincing argument.
Okay, let's move on. I lost.
Luke is moving on.
All right,
next? Last one. We have another Star Wars one. We have Darth Vader, the number 2 seed, against Medusa. Now I think that Medusa. What seed was Medusa? She was a 7 seed. She beat King Kong, much to Ross's.
Yeah, Ross was training King Kong for that battle, but Medusa still took him.
You can't look at Medusa, Claudia. If you look at Medusa, you turn to stone.
Right.
So the key is, if you know this, you have a mirror and you have Medusa look at the mirror, and then she turns to stone, right? Is that what we do? Is that the whole concept we can do?
That's what Perseus did in Clash of the Titans.
So does that work? Right. That counts, so we can kill her like that, right?
Well, that did work. That did work. But, and actually, Darth Vader's eyes are kind of mirrors.
Yeah, Darth Vader's like half machine, right? I mean, he's not they admit that he's not a full human.
No, he's more machine than man now, according to Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm just
so maybe the effect of Medusa won't work on him.
Right, that's the question. How effective will it be?
Okay, who wants to go first? Go ahead. Who's going first?
I'm gonna go first. See,
okay,
Darth Vader
go.
also has this line with Luke where he says, "Luke, for once, let me look on you with my own eyes." Now, if he loved Medusa and had just been turned back, he would do that and turn to stone. But the fact is, Darth Vader probably doesn't have actual eyeballs. Oh, no, he actually does. He took off his helmet. But with that thing, I think it's going to reflect back to Medusa. I love Medusa. I love talking about Medusa. She is really ugly, as we know. But I just think that Darth Vader would force choke her to death and not look at her. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, I agree that Darth Vader would win. Plus, I like the next round matchup. Then the Oedipal match of the Sweet 16.
Oh, do we have Darth versus Luke?
I think it would be Darth versus Luke in the next round, which would be kind of an epic discussion in its own right for the Star Wars geeks in the room. But yeah, I think with his eyes being somewhat mechanized, I don't think that you get the same effect with him when he looks at Medusa and then he'll just kind of chop her to pieces.
Claudia, I have to ask you this. Darth Vader his voice is black because of James Earl Jones.
So
but his body is white. He's a really confused dude.
But I will say this, he did go on to voluntarily claim a child that he didn't have to claim when he said, "I am your father," when most fathers just kind of run. So I'm going to go ahead and give him the edge because that's rare and that's also very brave.
Respect. There you go.
The paternity vote.
I like it.
Ross, again, your vote really doesn't matter here.
Doesn't matter, but I have to send my piece anyway. Darth Vader, the Force alone will destroy Medusa. He controls that dark force. I mean, he has that. He knows how to control it, and he can destroy Medusa, and he'll know Medusa's weakness, and he'll take care of it. Darth Vader would easily destroy Medusa. He'll just take the lifesaver and just slash her head off.
Claudia, I just want to say this though. Ross did argue that Captain America would beat Yoda. So we've got a little bit of uneven arguments going on here. That's Ross the boss for you.
That's what Captain America is Captain America.
He's not a Star Wars guy, Ross.
I was Star Wars growing up, but I'm not really. I'm not like you guys. Like you guys clearly have a deeper love of Star Wars.
I'm playing with action figures below the screen.
I believe you.
I'm kidding. I'm not. I swear to God. They're right here. Look.
Besides probably being able to recite like all phrases backwards in the alphabet, what else can Yoda do physically? He's pretty
He is decrepit.
He's
He's a very old man. Wait.
He has the Force.
He's a very
He can
old
use the
man.
Force. He's good with the Force.
You think
old
Mr.
man
Miyagi's
strength.
old?
And
You think Mr. Miyagi's old? Yoda is 900 years old.
But he's not an old man though. He's more like an old gremlin or whatever the hell he
Yeah,
is.
he's an old thing.
Thing.
Yeah, you're right. Well, listen, Claudia, I hope you enjoyed this. This actually felt like our days on the Raw Word. We talked about all of these inane things. You entertained my ridiculousness with that, and I wish I could hear your Forrest Gump imitation. Make it quick. Bye, Jenny.
That.
You can't do it.
let's hear
We'll
that.
do that
Let's
when
hear
you come
the-
next time.
I do impressions all the time, Claudia.
Oh,
It's your
Bubba,
turn to.
no.
It's your turn to try an impression. Go.
I'm not good at it.
Life is like
well,
life.
no, you
life
practice.
is like a box of chocolates.
Jenny gave me an AIDS baby. No.
Yeah, see that was Claudia's review of Forrest Gump. Jenny gave me an AIDS baby. Oh my God,
True.
I can't believe we just said that. Claudia, thank you for coming on and inspiring all of this. It's wonderful to see you.
Anytime.
Thanks, Claudia.
This was
Thank you,
live
Claudia. It
fun.
was great meeting you.
You too. Bye.
Go Patriots.
So great to have my former co-host Claudia Jordan join us. I can tell you, I knew she would be great on Monster Madness. You should have heard us in the makeup chairs doing our Forrest Gump imitations. So bye-bye, MFSN the Hub. I guess sometimes there just aren't enough footballs.
We should get Forrest on there. You know, he went to Alabama. Did you know that? I knew that. And he was all SEC 4 years in a row.
You know where everyone went to college, but in fairness, it was in the movie. On the next episode, we have more First and 10, all the picks for the upcoming week, more surprise guests, and round 2 of Monster Madness continues. Until next week, stay hungry, my friends. This has been MFSN's The Hub.
And you know what? Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell for notifications. If you don't, the boss is coming for you. And I will. I'm not crazy. Ross the boss, I love talking sports with you, cowboy.
Lying with a blanket over my head. She asked if she could see who was under the blanket with me. I said, you don't want to find. It is Hideki Matsui in my